let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 4 at Aqueduct on Saturday is the Grade 2 Remsen Stakes. Let's kick up the field for 2-year-olds going a mile and an eighth. $150,000 is the purse. The Remsen, Mike, has such a great history. It's a shame we only got 5 and no show wagering.
Yeah, it's not a strong group of 2-year-olds. I guess that seems like the way these 2-year-old stakes races are trending these days. If nothing else, though, Dan, we got, I think, 3 pretty good horses in here.
Not surprisingly, we're expecting a blue pace situation from Timeform US, which favors horses on or near the early lead. We throw up the pace projector in the 5, 10 for 10, who was the beaten favorite in the Nashua last time out. He's expected to make the lead, and I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it pretty easily.
That's what I thought. He does look like the main speed in the race. So getting loose on the lead would certainly help his chances, Dan, as would the expected wet track on Saturday. This horse already shown that he can handle a sloppy track.
Was last time the time for Pickin' Time, who was 9-1 when he beat 10 for 10 in the Nashua. Let's watch that race right now. He sat in mid-pack in this race. He comes with a strong run, and he goes right by 10 for 10 to win with an 82 Beyer speed figure. Now, he's going to have to prove it stretching out, but he has tactical speed and the inside post, and that probably combines for a nice trip.
I think we'll get a good trip in here. Basically, he's run well in all of his races. I mean, he has that one start against Jackie's Warrior in the Saratoga Special. Other than that, he's basically shown up and run well in every one of his starts. There's a little bit of that last time was the time kind of thing with him, Dan. But, when you go back and watch that Nashua, I mean, he really didn't have any trouble overtaking 10 for 10 coming to the stretch. So, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to handle that horse again. The distance could play a big factor in this race. Maybe he doesn't want to go this far, but overall, his form is fine.
The horse with perhaps the most long-term potential in this field, in my opinion, is your morning line favorite. That's the 2 known agenda for Todd Pletcher, a son of Curlin. The dam was a Grade 1 stakes winner at this distance over a synthetic surface. Let's watch his second start. In his debut sprinting, he caught a very sharp horse, a very promising, highly motivated, who came back to win a stake at Keeneland. I like the grit known agenda showed. He's confronted at the 3/16 pole. He digs right in to win. He's earned now really solid Beyer speed figures in his first 2 starts, and perhaps most importantly, that last race came over course and distance.
Yeah, the distance feels like it's no problem for him. That's a big advantage for this horse in here. To me, he's run really well in both of his races, Dan. Even, his career debut, that you mentioned that highly motivated is a really promising horse who came back and ran a fast race, winning the Nyquist in his next start. This horse had a much tougher trip than highly motivated did that day and really ran well. And he didn't have a necessarily easy trip last time either, Dan. I mean, they tried to go forward with him. He got caught wide around the first turn. He had to go on with it. He was confronted by that horse, as you said, around the turn, and he would not let him pass. And they put an acre of ground on that field through the stretch. This horse really ran last time.
Brooklyn Strong, the number 3. This would be a nice story if he could pick up the win here. $5,000 2-year-old in training purchase, wins his debut for 40 around 2 turns at Delaware. He's a New York bred, and he scored in the Sleepy Hollow last time out. We watched that race, and we see Brooklyn Strong on the outside, assuming command in the lane. This was a pretty solid group of New York breds he beat, and the fake he earned puts him right on the cusp with some of these other horses.
Yeah, it's to his advantage that this race just didn't come up that strong, and it's a short kind of field. I worried about what kind of trip he gets in here, Dan, because he's not a great gate horse. The slow break really cost him 2 starts back in the Bonguard. He ran better last time, and he earned a pretty solid figure for that race. And as far as I can tell, he's bred to stretch out, so maybe he'll get the distance.
Thank goodness with a 4 Erewhon, or maybe we wouldn't have a Remsen this year. He scored in his debut going a 1-turn mile at a big price. Jose Corrales, this morning I noticed, they are very streaky, and they're starting to heat up at Laurel recently. This horse ran okay last time out. He obviously has to improve as he stretches out again.
Yeah, I mean, he has run pretty well in both of his starts, though. So we'll see if he can, up his game a little bit here. If he got hustled into this race to make it go, I feel bad for them.
10 for 10 is the number 5. And this is a horse that you mentioned. He handled the sloppy track. Not only handle it, he seemed to relish it with a 78 Beyer in the Nashua. He ran just fine. The key is distance. I think it's a big question mark for this horse. I know he wanted a mile and a 16th. A 2-turn mile and an eighth might be a little different story, but at least we know he's going to get a cozy trip.
Yeah, he should be on the lead in this race. And listen, even though he couldn't win last time and he was really no match for Pickin' Time, it's not like it was a total disaster for him in there. I mean, he ran fine. The sloppy track, I suppose, could help him. He really is bred to get this far, Dan. I mean, this is the family of Vexatious and Destin, Creative Cause. Those horses all wanted to go long. I have no problem. If anybody tells me they want to give this horse another chance, to rebound out of that Nashua, I have no problem with that.
And if they leave him alone on the lead, he might have plenty left in the final quarter mile. Pick time for the Grade 2 Remsen. Mike, you like known agenda, and I really don't have a problem with that at all. Again, he has the most long-term potential. He handles a mile and an eighth. Maybe the wet track would be a little concerning.
Yeah, I would worry about a wet track. I don't know, how short a price he's really supposed to be in here, Dan. So we'll see how they wind up betting the race. But I just feel like in a lot of ways he could be the horse to be in here. I think he's run really well in both of his starts.
I'm concerned that Picking Time's going to be a fraction of the odds he was in the Nashua, and he's another horse. The mile and an eighth, he doesn't absolutely have to love this distance, but I think the trip is coming for him here. I think he's going to be right in the thick of things, turning into the stretch. Mike is going 2-5-1-3. I'm going 1-2-5-3. Grade 2 Remsen, race 4 at the Big A. Kicks off the graded stakes portion of a nice Cigar Mile Saturday card with an approximate post of 1 o'clock Eastern. Best of luck.